So as Damon said, I'm Simon Hart. I work for Innovate UK. And I want to talk to you about innovation in construction and what the UK is doing. And maybe that'll inspire some people, maybe allow you to access some of our funding, or to come and talk back to me about what else is going on internationally as well. So if you want to get hold of me as well, you can reach out. I'm on Twitter at Simon Bim. And I'll go through slowly some of this because there's probably a lot of links in here as well. You can find most of the content that I'm going to show here. You can find it online. If you just search for the right title, you'll find the information. And hopefully, if you've got any questions at the end, we can take a bit of time to go through that. So, Innovate who? So, what is Innovate UK? Innovate UK is the UK's research agency for innovation. So we specialise in funding and connecting innovative companies in the UK. But we are part of something bigger. We're part of an organisation called UK Research and Innovation. You can see it there in the top right-hand corner up there. So UK Research and Innovation is the UK's entity for research and innovation. It's funded by government. It funds all academic research in the UK, right the way from pioneering research, right the way through to innovation and through to commercialization, which is the area that we work in. And we do that across any subject. This is not limited to just construction or even just the built environment. We have parts of UK research and innovation are funding some of the COVID vaccines going on in Oxford University. We're also funding everything from quantum computing to vertical farming, offshore renewable energy, additive manufacturing, digital twin, and a whole host of other industries and sectors in between. If you want to find out more about UK research innovation and Innovate UK ourselves, head to our website. It's innovateuk.gov.uk, nice and simple, or just search for UK research innovation. What I wanted to do, and I'll see if I can make this work properly. I just want to take you through a couple of links on pages. So this, it should have worked just then. So you should be able to see. This is our website. This is the .gov.uk website. The reason I wanted to show you this is just to give you an idea of the sheer amount of opportunities that are on offer, not just for direct funding, but for collaboration as well. So if you're based in the UK, or you're interested in some of the activities going on in the UK, then head here. There's a whole wealth of information. We've got loads of news stories about some of the innovative companies that have been funded by the UK government. And you can also find out about where the new funding is coming in. So if you go here and you hit on search for funding opportunities, you can see straight away, this one is UK Canada, biomanufacturing innovation in cell and gene therapies. So you can get involved in this if you're either in the UK or in Canada. I'll scroll down a bit further. You've got to see other activities to do around foundation industries, around energy and data applications. What else have we got here? What's on here today? Robotics for more resilient future R&D. So there's a whole. You can see the sort of variety of the stuff that we fund. And even if you're not in the UK, but you're interested in finding out a little bit about innovation funding, the model that we use is actually really quite standard across both across Europe, around the way that we put collaborations of SMEs together. Sorry, SMEs, small mid-sized enterprises. I don't use too many acronyms here. And put them together with academia and maybe with a big corporate company, and we give them some money to undertake some R&D, some innovation. And they can use that together to develop and solve a problem, maybe for that larger corporate, and from that they can grow. And we've seen a lot of really successful startups come out of receiving just a small amount of funding from one of these competitions. But if you're interested, I always recommend this to To anyone looking around R&D funding and what it involves, if you go onto one of these competitions, let's just go back a second. We'll pick one. Let's go back here. Let's pick this one here. This one's come up quite recently. It's not even open yet. So you go on here and it'll tell you really simply what it's all about, who is eligible to apply for it. And then the real good one here is the dates. If you click on the dates, you have these online briefing sessions. We used to do them in person, but of course we're a bit more restricted these days to do that. But if you go on there, they're online briefing sessions and they tell you all about the competition, but they also tell you how to apply. That application process is really, really similar for all of those different funding competitions that come out. So if you even if it's not, even if the right competition is not there, you haven't seen it on here yet, it's probably maybe something that might be launching later this year or next year. Go and have a look at the online briefing sessions, because it gives you an idea of the type of activity that you've got happening and the ways to apply. There's also lots of supporting information in here. You can connect to some of our partners, so the Knowledge Transfer Network, who are a great innovation network, free to use, free to access. They can connect you to other companies. They can connect you to potentially international funds as well. And likewise, Energy Enterprise Europe Network, they could do the same. They can help connect your company, connect your business to other potential collaborators, and hopefully you'll be able to find some good opportunities there. So I'll take, let me try make sure this works. Yeah, here we go. So I've gone back to the slide deck now. Just want it. So if you go on this website, there's lots of information on there. You can find out about our program as well, which I'm going to introduce now, which is the Transforming Construction Industrial Strategy Challenge Fund Program, ISCF. It's a bit of a long-winded title, but Transforming Construction is part of one of the UK's industrial strategies, and it was put in place as a large £170 million program, started 2 years ago, looking to how we transform the way the UK's construction industry operates. And UK construction industry is in some ways very, very similar to construction industries worldwide. And we face a lot of challenges that are exactly the same around low productivity, low use of manual labor, poor quality outputs or unpredictable outputs. And a number of years ago, the key departments, government departments in the UK that buy a lot of infrastructure, they build roads, they build schools, they build hospitals. They got together and put together a strategy about how they can do transformation, and it was really around 3 transformational changes. It was procurement based on lifetime value. So what that means is you don't go for the cheapest cost option. You don't look at building a new road and you look at who's the cheapest bidder for this, we'll go with them. Okay, you shift that and you start to look at what's the best lifetime offer. So where can you get the best whole life performance from that future asset, so you're not paying for it many times over. We also looked at bringing in modern methods of construction. We say modern, okay, this is more around bringing in the technologies from other sectors such as manufacturing, aerospace, automotive, in the way that we do design simulation, design for manufacture and assembly. That's modern methods of construction. And lastly, around sharing and scaling a best practice. So one thing that was found around the time of the UK BIM program was that a lot of the departments who again, the departments who, these ones who buy most of the construction output of the UK industry, they were good in their own aspects, but they weren't really sharing that information across other areas, and they wasn't really reaching out and being fed back to the industry. So so part of the strategy was using that transformation to bring these 3 things into practice. So the UK industry also had a number of headline targets. These were set way back in 2010, but they are still in place today. with the final measurement point on these to be in 2025. And they came from a construction strategy called Construction 2025 that's still available. If you look at it online, you can find this. But these targets remained in place. And in fact, the program that I'm working on now for transforming construction, we are still looking to hit these targets, in some cases exceed them. So it's around bringing in lower costs, reducing the cost of the initial cost and the whole life cost of the asset, improving the speed of delivery, so reducing the time before the asset can be used, whether that's a railway or a new hospital or a new school. Reducing the greenhouse gas emissions in the built environment. This has got even more important in the last few years with the renewed drive to reduce emissions and the carbon emissions and energy consumption in the built environment. And lastly, improvements in exports. So reducing the trade gap between imports and exports. Come back to me in a couple of years when related to Brexit and ask me how that one's going. We shall see. So next slide. Transforming construction. So our ISCF program, Industrial Strategy Challenge Fund. Okay, it's a bit of an acronym. It's the industrial strategy for the UK. Best way of looking at it. So transforming construction is one of those themes of the industrial strategy. And this is a program. It's funded from central government, but it's delivered by Innovate UK and UKRI, and it's also delivered with industry. So it's not just a government department doing something. We've really actively engaged industry in doing this. So it started off with 170 million pounds worth of government funding, with a matched funding target, so that's from industry, of around 250 million. And this was part of a program called the Construction Sector Deal. And it was really around where the UK construction industry said, okay, we will do this thing. We will do those 3 transformational pieces if you put the money in. So government put the money in, industry will match that. And overall, is it then that benefits back to the UK government, to the UK construction industry, and to the UK economy, to people's jobs, to people's lives. It's a 4-year funding program, so we're about 2 years into that now. Got another 2 years to go. It's a sustainable long-term model because it's got that 4-year funding cycle, but the benefits will be accrued over a much longer period. So after that 4 years of funding, we're still going to be seeing the benefits of this. So how is that 170 million split up? So what does it do? What is it out there that you can go and connect with, you can go and meet, you can go and see, you can go and maybe get some funding from? So where does it go? Okay, so out of that, we have around 59 million pounds is going towards R&D projects. So that's going out to UK businesses to go and apologies if you just lost my microphone there. I'll just cover that bit again. So we have 59 million pounds going out to the R&D projects that's run by industry, by SMEs, by larger companies. 72 million pounds goes to the Construction Innovation Hub. This is a partnership between some key players in the UK manufacturing space, in the built environment, and in the BIM and digital twin space. The Active Building Centre, 36 million went to the Active Building Centre, and they are about how we can make future assets energy positive. So rather than having buildings being consumers of energy, how do we make them so that they are actually producers of energy? So if you want to find out about all the things I've just been talking about, I appreciate you might want to pause the presentation at that point and go and look at some of this stuff. If you go onto the Innovate UK website or the UKRI, UK Research and Innovation website, you can find us here as the Transforming Construction Programme. And you go on there and there's a huge amount of information about some of the projects that we're funding, about some of the activities that are happening now, some of the recent events that we've been hosting. And these are all just really fantastic ways to connect in. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can connect in, you can join some of the events that we do for free. You can find out about how and what the UK construction sector is doing around this, and see where that might be some really good opportunities and some good ideas for where your own company might be wanting to go to. Or maybe you can come and tell us about some things you've got going on that are similar to this, because we really want to hear about that as well. So as I mentioned, being around bringing these modern methods of construction into the UK industry. What does that really mean? The way that we're approaching this, it's really around bringing some manufacturing principles into the sector, and it kind of works because at one end you've got these big buyers of the construction output. So big buyers being the Department of Health, Department of Education. They in the UK, okay, we're a population around 50 to 60 million people. The number of schools that we have to provide education for that population, we have to replace about 50 schools a year just because they get to the end of life. So you've got to keep replacing everything in the schools estate around the UK. So why would we, as buyers of that estate, why would we go out and buy every single one in a different way, when ultimately we know how a school performs, we know the best layout of schools, we know the best way to get the best educational attainment out of schools. So what's the better way to do that than turn those design principles, those design requirements into a set of components that can be used as sub-assemblies for these school buildings. This is some of the work that the Construction Innovation Hub are doing. I mentioned they are one of the big partners in our program, and they are very much working on this kit of parts approach, where you break down buildings into sub-assemblies of components. And once you've done that, you can apply standard manufacturing processes to those sub-assemblies, so that the buildings can be formed from those assemblies. The supply chain can then start to standardize their manufacturing around those sub-assemblies. So you can build this up as very much like the automotive industry operates now, where rather than having to buy your school from a single source contractor who do the whole design and build process, you can now buy it from a much more diverse supply chain with a much bigger manufacturing base. It allows you to put that together and use the power of procurement from the sector to make these big changes. So Construction Innovation Hub, as I've mentioned, so this is their website. Go and look them up. Go and have a look on there. Go and see what they're doing. Sorry, didn't turn that phone off. So you can go and see what they're doing, and go and find out some more information about their activities. There's a really good piece of information they've got on there at the moment about a value toolkit. I'll cover that in a couple of slides, but just bear that in mind if you want to come back to that one. Go and have a look at Construction Innovation Hub. The other big centre that we funded is the Active Building Centre. So these are the guys looking to transform the buildings into energy positive, energy active buildings. They have a great website. They're really great. They're really responsive if you want to reach out and contact them. But they've also got some projects coming up, and they're going to be updating their website with some of those projects very soon. So you can go and find out a little bit more about what the Active Building Centre is doing. They've got an existing demonstrator of an active classroom. That's a demonstrator school building that produces more energy than it consumes. In fact, it produces so much they're even able to charge electric vehicles from that building. They've also got a demonstrator of an active office, and they're actively keep saying the word active. They're actively working on some more demonstrator projects through some of our funding channels as well. So go and check them out. They are a really good group of researchers and a really great group of researchers and partners working at the Active Building Centre. So if this should work. So I mentioned around the value toolkit. So this is one of the activities that the Construction Innovation Hub are doing. You can go onto the Construction Innovation Hub now and go and have a look at this. So this what we mentioned about embedding the idea of whole life value into the sector. This is one of the tools that we're using. This just come out a couple of weeks ago, so it's really, really new. But it's a set of tools to allow better value-based decision making across large life cycle investments. So when you're planning some major infrastructure, or even smaller pieces, even localized activities, the value toolkit can be really helpful in understanding how you can make the case for using whole life value when you're putting together business cases for investment. Just want to cover this briefly. So one of the aspects that caught us, as it did with many people, has been the recent COVID pandemic. The UK has been pretty badly hit in terms of the impacts of the pandemic on the economy, and down at our level, the impacts on the sector, because if the construction sector can't operate, if the future pipelines of procurement look like they're going to reduce, it puts a lot of people's livelihoods at risk. Really, really important that we can support the sector itself as best as possible. So Construction Innovation Hub, ourselves have been doing some work with the Construction Leadership Council, really around how we restart the industry, how we reset it to become more productive using some of the things I've just been talking about, and then longer term, how we reinvent. So how we can use the pipeline of future infrastructure investment to provide much more certainty for the industry. So it's got that assurance that there will be work there forward, and moving on through forward business planning to bring the confidence back into the sector. Really, really fascinating. I saw a couple of days ago how the impact on the jobs market. UK is currently in the UK. The UK construction sector is one of the few industries that is really still has a significant skill shortage. They are calling out for both skilled and unskilled people to go into the sector, because it still has that skills problem and the skills and productivity gap that we faced before the pandemic. And it's been somewhat exacerbated during this. So it's really good that this is quite a new piece of work, but it shows the level of commitment that's gone into the sector to help it get back on its feet after the pandemic. So appreciate that. That's quite a whistle-stop tour of innovation landscape in the UK, and some of the things that you out there can go and get involved in. More than happy to take any questions, or if you're watching this after the live session, then come reach out to me on Twitter, and be more than happy to help and make those connections. Thank you.